Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back again. We're here for the Shanghai Dota 2 Open. I'm Lyrical, joined as well by Eosin. We're going to be taking a look at game number 2 between ehome and Newbee. And last game, Newbee kind of just mopped the floor with ehome. It was all over the place. It felt like they were just doing everything that they needed to win. And this time around, ehome wisely are going to be banning out the Drow Ranger. Eosin, do you think that this is the right move?
I mean, definitely. Why would you let a team who just won 3 games in a row with the same hero pick it for a 4th time? Like, you have to get rid of the Drow Ranger.
Oh my goodness, I think I'm fired. I accidentally pressed the commercial button while I was trying to switch it off. Sorry guys, you're gonna get a commercial. My bad, I'm sorry. All right, it's fine. It's just the first part of the draft. Nobody cares. But yeah, I agree that they've ran it now 3 times in a row and they're just kind of getting whatever they want. Now that, I mean, I guess that ehome just don't feel comfortable running it themselves or don't like the hero themselves, because they did have first pick. Oh wait, no, they have second pick, excuse me. So yeah, that makes sense why they wouldn't want to take it. Bat Rider, Elder Titan as well. Is Mirana just gone now, or what do you think the reason is that we're not seeing it?
Newbee's turn
I think it's just because she's probably outclassed by OD at the moment. People just seem to prioritize OD over her as a mid laner, and if you pick Mirana, normally people just run it as a mid laner, right? I don't think people have actually run it for anything else, and because that matchup is just so unfavorable and also much more highly prioritized, it just kind of like removes her as a pick.
No, it's true, and I guess that does make sense. The OD is going to come out instead for Newbee, and SC has ran this pretty much every time he's gotten an opportunity to. Slardar is also going to get taken out. We don't often see it on the Radiant side, I feel like. I guess we do a fair amount if they want to try and contest Roshan, but obviously much more potent there when he's able to go on the Dire side. If you're ehome right now, do you think about trying to switch up the style that you play Dota? Like, do you maybe focus more on trying to take objectives or winning your lanes harder?
It's like such a tough position to be in, because, you know, as Newbee, when you're in this kind of position, you just feel so unstoppable, you know? Like, you play your Drow strat 3 times, you win all 3 games, you finally make people ban it out. But it's not like, you know, oh no, we lost our Drow, we're screwed. They definitely have something up their sleeves, and I just feel like Newbee are just so in control of the game and the drafting. I feel like it's just a really hard position for ehome to be in, regardless of how they change their playstyle or, like, you know, anything. I feel like Newbee's just like way too prepared.
Yeah, that's true. They've really done their homework, and it's also just playing so many more games. If you think about what Newbee has been through over the past, you know, just a little bit, they went to MDL. I think that they had a couple of matches in DPL also, and so it's just like they're constantly playing the matches. In ehome, I don't really think that they've played all that much outside of this tournament against a couple of teams that weren't really super often seen there, but it's just like they're in the stride right now. They're playing their games, they're making it work well. Lanham Kunkka might be the way back into it. He popularized the build with Torrent Tidebringer, and with Shadow Demon there's certainly a lot of setup for his torrents and early ganks.
Yeah, well, just gonna have to see how they handle the early game. I mean, I feel like ehome just really have to set the pace for themselves. If they play too passively and let Newbee do whatever they want, I feel like Newbee is just in too comfortable of a position, and they're just going to take the game like they did the first game.
Reserve time.
Oh, definitely, and we'll have to see if they can, you know, sort of break that streak or not. The Morphling has also been banned out by Newbee. They don't want to have to deal with the Luna either. Meanwhile, the Life Stealer, another pretty interesting ban, but I guess it makes sense. That was something that I think we saw them run a couple of times at MDO, was a Life Stealer Riki, which is still available and in the pool if they wanted to take that.
I feel like Riki is one of those heroes where if you don't pick in the first phase, you're probably just not going to run it altogether. I could be wrong, but that's just how it feels. But if they're banning out Lifestealer, chances are they are going to pick a hero that Lifestealer is going to counter. But we're just going to have to see. I feel like it's really weird to pick your 2 supports in the early phase too. I hope it doesn't come back to bite them.
Yeah, that's tough. Well, they're going to take the axe themselves now. We did talk earlier about how strong this axe can be if, you know, you get a free jungle. Is that something that Newbee needs to start thinking about now, as ways to try and contest that axe's farm? Is there anything in particular that you really like for that?
If you want to contest, an axe just free farming the jungle, then you just make rotations a little earlier. Like you force him to come to the off lane. If he decides not to, then you just
Reserve time.
take the tier 1, and then you just go elsewhere. And then the more time he wastes trying to out farm the other team in the jungle, you just keep taking objectives, and it just doesn't really amount to much when you have like a 2 to 3 tower lead in the early game.
Okay. Well, that's something to keep our eyes on, as well as where they try and do that, and if they can actually make that happen with the heroes they take. Dazzle already, it feels a little bit scary to me, attempting to go in and contest an axe. And Shallow Grave now less of a concern for the side of ehome, because they've got that Culling Blade just to break through it. But it does still, like you said, it kind of reveals a lot of what they're going to do, the Shadow Demon and the Kunkka. You know that those rotations are going to come, and Newbee now taking a good amount of time to figure out what they want for their third hero.
I mean, another thing about picking your supports in the early phase, like both of them as well, is that it removes a lot of potential for countering certain heroes in the later phases of picking. Like, you can't always have that kind of anti-mage into a storm, as a counter pick, right? Normally, when that kind of pick comes up, you want to expend a support hero. For example, picking AA into Alchemist is always, a very tried and true counter. You never really want to waste both of your support picks in the early phase to deal with these kind of heroes.
Yeah, and now Tidehunter is going to get taken. I guess then also waiting a little while longer to reveal that pick means that if Newbee wanted to try and take something, they could go for some cheese. Is Huskar an option now for them if they wanted to go that route, or is it a little bit too scary going against the axe?
I don't think Huskar is really necessary here. I think they could go for something else to complement the rest of their team. I don't think Huskar is really a great pick here either.
Okay. Well, fourth pick now for ehome. They've already got a hell of a lot of control. Kunkka and the axe, just continuous initiations if they're able to get that level of farm to put them through at the start. But now running very low on time.
I really like this Tidehunter pick, though. It really makes it difficult for ehome to play this aggressive, axe and Kunkka kind of thing. If axe jumps in, then you just have a Tidehunter separate your entire team from your axe by just being in between them and ravaging. And even if you get caught by the axe, it's very hard for them to just kill off your Tidehunter before he does anything.
Right. And I guess that's the other thing that you mentioned, is that normally you'd have some option like going back for a disruptor or one of those big AoE silences to cause issues. Now he's very much in this situation where there aren't many heroes that are able to deal with Kraken Shell effectively. And going back, Hao is no longer on the team to play as Spectre, but apparently Kaka still likes the hero, and it's great against that Tinker.
Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about when it comes to picking, your supports for countering out certain heroes. Now you have Newbee can actually pick one more Tinker counter, because Tinker is actually one of those heroes where he's so annoying to deal with. You absolutely need those counters to deal with him. Otherwise, you'll never catch him. So now that they have an extra support slot to deal with that, they can, just pick something that can deal with Tinker. For example, I think Disruptor's not that bad. Skywrath potentially. I think Skywrath is okay, just in the sense that you can really shut down a Tinker in the early phase or in the laning phase just by running him over.
I guess the only other thing that I'd be worried about for Newbee's draft is maybe amount of control that they've got. Do you think that a hero like Disruptor would solve that? Considering the main stun they have at this point is Tidehunter Ravage.
That's actually a really good point. I didn't really pay too much attention to that. I think if you want to disable Lion might be a go-to here. It's always a very reliable support for disables. Disruptor might not actually be enough unless they're very confident in their ability to just control team fights with what they have right now.
Yeah. And if you're ehome, is there any way to exploit that? Like a specific hero in the safe lane that could really run amok if there aren't any stuns online that sort of fits within their synergy?
It's actually a tough one. I'm not too sure.
I kind of like the idea.
What is good here?
What do you think about like an Ursa or something? Is that too weird? I feel like I've never seen ehome ever run it though.
Ursa has the potential to be kited, I feel, by by this OD, unless you get a good start, you buy BKB or something like that. But even then, there's going to be a lot of force staffs on their side.
Ooh. All right.
Ehome's turn to
Rubik
pick.
gets taken by Newbee. I'm pretty sure this is a Kakao Rubik, and considering I know he was playing good pre-TI, since like the past games I've watched of Kakao, he has really stepped his game up, and I hope that we get to see him play this
10
Rubik.
seconds remaining.
Well, that's another
5 seconds
instant reliable
remaining.
stun. I mean, Kaka's just on fire right now. He kind of reminds me of
5
like
seconds
FY in
remaining.
his prime days. He just does whatever he wants. Ooh, Juggernaut. I guess. I mean, Juggernaut's definitely a really good hero here. Actually, I kind of surprised I forgot about Juggernaut, just considering how popular he's been recently.
It's sort of one of those heroes that's always good at something, so he kind of sneaks under the radar at the last second. But, looking at this lineup, it's great. You don't have any BKB piercing disables. A lot of Spectre's damage comes from that Desolate, which obviously doesn't pierce through BKB. There's a lot of cool things about this here. I like the Juggernaut last pick. As far as going forward, do you like one draft in particular over the other? Do you feel like it's really going to come down to one particular matchup in lane?
I mean, personally,
10
I would
seconds
favor Newbee's lineup just because it seems a lot more
5
balanced to me
seconds
over the course of the entire game versus ehome has to really make it work with this Axe X SD and Kunkka. They have to be able to win the early game for their Tinker to come online later on.
Well, it is in fact going to be Kaka heading out to place down a ward for his Rubik, and I don't know if they're going to try and go for a smoke or some other type of play like that. They have one on the Shadow Demon, but everybody a little bit late to the party as Sylar was able to place out a ward for himself. And I don't know if KP is going to get scouted here. His smoke is wearing off pretty soon.
ehome make an interesting smoke here. They must be considering they must know Newbee's like early game habits, like pre-creep stage. So this is the kind of smoke it is. They're trying to catch someone out.
Yeah, I guess they did get to watch the last game that occurred, so that might be something else as well, where they saw how Newbee was moving against Vici, and now they're trying to find
30
some type of a
seconds
pickoff
to
here.
battle.
But U9 staying very close to the tower. It's not thinking he's gonna dive. Oh, Faith, don't let it be happening. He's gonna turn back around, and there's the disruption. They're gonna be able to find him, and this probably is gonna be a kill as right clicks come out. No sense in doing anything other than buying that TP.
The blade of axe has tasted first.
I thought they were gonna hold it off and let the Tinker get it with some kind of spell, but I guess they want the captain's probably just like,
The
guys,
battle
stop.
begins.
Let me get this. And then take the last hit.
That's always so frustrating. Well, nonetheless, they trade off the bounty runes. It's not the biggest deal in the world, I would imagine. And Faith actually finds the ward. Man, did they spot that? Oh, it might have been.
I think he just knows because they were smoked, so they like to be absolutely sure as to where it is. It's definitely not a thing. Like he just knows based on probably like replay analysis or something. Just knows their habits.
Wow.
And yes,
That's a little bit of that's surprising to me that they're able to find that one so early, because that's not a normal one that you would place down. But nonetheless, KP getting sort of brought out a little bit here. He levels the Kraken shell, realizing that something could happen. They might be able to actually wrap him in. Oh, immediately TPing out. Really good decision there, because that would have been a kill. There was no way for him to escape from that otherwise. Salves back up, heads back in, and that's a lot of mana used.
I think ehome actually had that kill. I think Guardian just misplayed that situation. I think like because he was blocked in, he thought oh, we're gonna get this kill. I don't need to do anything.
Yeah,
And the torrent just came out late.
really unfortunate. They have it now, another chance at it, and they do catch him again, so no way out for KP. Man, that is a rough life so far. Oh my god, are you kidding me? What? There's no way. All right, he blocked the camp himself.
Just wait. He has another torrent.
He's staring tanky. He does drop finally. Shadow Demon gets the kill. Oh man, a lot of action so far in this off lane.
Well, that was pretty clowny, if I must say so myself. He looks so cool, with that TP out play and stuff like that. Heals up, goes back in, and then the same thing just happens. He gets disrupted and blocked again.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Well, okay, so that's something to look at now. There's no offlaner currently here for ehome. It's going to be Axe left alone in the jungle. Like, do we need to see the supports rotating out for Newbee, or why do you think that they're sticking to this lane here?
I mean, if you get a free lane, you might as well just pull and stuff like that. But I think they kind of messed it up here because they have such a huge wave. There's no way they can complete this here. So they have to go for tower damage, and if Old 11 recognizes this, he should be heading back down.
He's actually just focused right now, at least for the moment, on the stack, so maybe they will be able to do a little bit of tower damage. The rotation in towards mid, looking for the kill onto SC. They were able to find the dispersion as well as the X combo, and that should be a kill coming out of this, I believe. Yeah, no way out. Shadow Demon is actually the one that gets it.
Alright. So, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't looking at bottom lane, but I have no idea how they managed to clear out this creep wave. What happened to it? It was like enormous, and then they just cleared it out. This is the 9K lane control. This is something else.
That's pretty absurd. I wouldn't have expected that either. It was looking pretty enormous. I guess just one more creep wave coming in, then aggressively denying everything. Meanwhile, Old Chicken still struggling a little bit in this lane against the OD, not in terms of CS, but just his damage that's being dealt out to him. He's gonna ferry out a bottle, and I think that that's crowing as well. But still, pretty decent start for him.
Wow, it's 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Neither team has a flying courier. What's happening?
There you go. Kaka leveled that one up for his buddy. He's gonna wrap around and place a ward. We'll see if this goes unnoticed. And as far as the rotations do come out from Axe, he's currently at level 6, only 4 minutes into the game. Man, he is farming up a storm. Is this one of those games where you try and go for a Vanguard, stack up the Ancients and all those camps and get it for him?
I don't think he can afford I don't think he has the luxury of farming a Vanguard and then going for the Blink Dagger. I don't think that's the kind of game this is going to be. He got his level 6 really early. I think this is the right play. He's just, pressuring the Spectre now, and this might be a kill.
Oh, they jump back in. They don't have the creep wave with them, though, so it's not going to be as many spins as it potentially could be. Still, they rotate in and find it. Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered. Garter was there as well, and 4-0 start after what was a very dominant Game 1 performance. ehome are striking back in a big way.
Yep. I mean, we were talking about the SD Kunkka being super aggressive. I mean, they're not even, really comboing it up too much. It's just Lanham just setting up all over the place.
Yeah, he's making it work for himself. And I was expecting that it was going to be the Lanham Kunkka, but with the switch up, they've decided to instead stick that to Garter, who is going instead for more points than X. So maybe the nerf, after the nerf, like you were talking about, we're going to be seeing less and less of those heroes running it with the Max Tidebringer build. Meanwhile, oh, really good lift up from Kaka. Probably saved Fate's life and might even be able to turn this back around onto Lanham. Oh, they pull him back. The right click. Faith is going to be there with it, and that should be a kill. Now, possibly, they can make something more of this. It doesn't look like it's going to happen.
That was some perfect timing from Kaka, that lift. Stopped that Axe call, and they were able to turn it around with ease.
Now looking at this game, again, Old 11 is going to be a bully. He actually is going back for the Ring of Health, so
yeah,
wants to be a farmer.
You were right. Like, he's going to stack the camp again. I guess they are prioritizing it. I mean, for how good the game is going for him right now, it's definitely not within, it's not definitely going to be hard for him to reach a Vanguard and a Blink before 10 minutes. Like, oh god, he's hasted.
Oh my god.
What does this mean for Kaka?
Oh no. He's actually going over.
He guessed wrong.
Oh my god, he's an angry man. Mr. Axe. Okay, I thought he was going to go mid. Top lane. Looking for KP again. Sylar is able to rotate in. Lanham is here as well, and they just find an easy kill.
It's looking rough for KP, but I mean, Tidehunter, even though he doesn't get a great start, the moment he hits level 6 or 7, it's going to be a fresh Ancient stack for him, and then he's just going to catch up just like that. Oh, Faith getting caught out.
That's the X combo with the Torrent thrown in there. The lift up, though, maybe will be okay. Yeah, Faith's just going to walk away again. Kaka in position, and now U9's going after Garter. He might be in trouble. They throw out another torrent, but SC is there, and yeah, they're going to pull him back inside. A nice little imprisonment. Probably one more right click. Doesn't even need it.
Kind of surprising that ehome went for that kill with just a Kunkka and an axe. Like, Kunkka's not 6 yet. I mean, he's only level 3. That damage output is nowhere near enough to kill off a Dazzle. And you have to expect him to have Grave at this point, too. It was really... I mean, well, you have an axe, so I guess that doesn't matter. But
yeah.
Definitely not enough damage output with just the 2 of them.
I mean, even just the heals from him, the Dazzle is going to be able to keep himself alive there, definitely. A little bit of a misplay, but nonetheless, it's not the worst thing in the world. But SC mid lane has himself a nice set of raindrops. He's probably, I'm imagining, going to start... What do you feel like is a good first item for OD? Is there anything, like, does it change the build at all?
No, definitely not. I think we're probably going to either see him go for a fighting build where he just goes straight for the Hurricane Pike, or we might see him do the thing he normally does where he just gets some Midas, farms away.
Be pretty neato, indeed. Garter, DD rune for himself. This ancient stack is becoming larger by the minute. And Old 11, meanwhile, just keeps on farming up as much as he possibly can with his Vanguard completed now. Can they come and like try and, you know, punish this axe at all? Maybe when he goes over to farm the stack, can they try and take that fight?
They can definitely kill him, but it's such a heavy commitment. Like, you have to really, really rotate a lot of people. You need your OD, you need your Dazzle, your Spectre, and your Rubik, and even then there still might be casualties. So I don't think they want to try anything just yet.
Yeah, and it happens so quickly too. Like, they could potentially haunt for it, but it's hard to know if he's going for it at any given point or time. So, man, just like that, he shoots ahead. 1,400 gold in the bank, almost at his Blink Dagger.
Yep, you're right. This is the way to go. Just buy Vanguard, stack Ancients, and you paid for your Vanguard already, and then you just get your Blink right afterwards.
This is frustrating. That's so much freaking money. Well, Spec... He's currently sitting at 900 gold. The only other Spectre game that I think I've seen in professional, they ended up going for a Vanguard Radiance as well. Do you like trying to rush a straight Radiance here for U9, or is that a little bit too greedy?
I think as the way the game is currently progressing, I don't think that he has the luxury of going straight Radiance. I think he's going to have to go for a fighting build.
Okay.
Whether it's like, you know, an Urn build or something like that, he has to buy some early items to fight with.
And speaking of fighting early, Lanham finishes off his Arcane Boots. They're going to bring in Guardian as well, and with Old 11 down here, there's a good chance that they can make some magic happen. U9 needs to be real careful. No way to know that this is coming. If they get that disruption off, oh, the media TPs, everybody's coming to hang out. Oh my god. Kaka, he has a lift back. All right, they're going to be able to pull onto one, looking for the Ravage, thinking about at least they turn around with the Omni Slash. It's onto a couple, and they're going to be able to find Kaka with that. Sylar got the bounces right. He might get punished, though, as all of the side of Newbee is here. Now they do have an X. The Haunt has already been committed on the backlines. It looks like, well, they're thinking about going for Sylar. He should die here, and it doesn't look like anybody else will pay.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I think that was a slight misplay by Sylar. I don't think it was worth going for the Rubik. I think he assumed his team was ready to fight, but I don't think you can fight into that. It's so hard to fight into a Ravage. Like, that threat is always going to be there.
I mean, I guess also if you just wait a couple more, minutes here, ehome, he's got his blink now on Old 11, so definitely a little bit of a curious play, or maybe they could have fought around that Omni Slash and taken a really big engagement. But as it stands, still very great early game for ehome here, no doubt about it.
Oh yeah, for sure. But Newbee are doing a really good job in kind of mitigating that, the rotations and protecting their Spectre. Wait, what did Spectre just buy? Okay, so he does go for the Urn. He's going for that early fighting build.
I think he's also going for an Iron Talon. Oh no, Initiation's gonna come out again, and there's the blink reveal. Well, Faith trying to keep his buddy alive a little bit longer. Pops the wand as well. Grave comes out. It's not gonna do a whole heck of a lot, but You're not going to be able to bring Spectre low enough. Man, that was really close.
I just realized Faith is level 7. Damn, he's really high level. But I'm surprised he even graved there because, you know, it doesn't really do anything. Could have saved the 150 mana.
That's true.
Radiant's top
Yeah, it's so
tower is
frustrating
under
playing against the Axe when you're dazzled like that. All right, they're getting
They
super
might get the
aggressive.
axe.
Nice blink away. Might still be in trouble. Could think about Ravage. They spot him too late, though. Yeah, they're not
They
going to be able
didn't
to get
find
him.
him. I think they definitely should have
Radiant's
ravaged if they knew about where he was.
fortified.
They just, unfortunately, they couldn't see where he was.
Radiant's
But
top
if they knew,
tower
they
is
would have
under
ravaged.
attack.
He's such a high priority kill right now.
And if you get that big pot of gold going back your direction, and it's already 5,000 net worth lead, you can really start to swing it back into their favor. And with the Midas on OD that you talked about him
Radiant's
potentially
middle tower
picking
is
up,
under attack.
how do you feel like this mid to late game is going to work out for Newbee? Are they going to be able to sort of take
Radiant's
fights,
top
or is it
tower
too
has
scary
fallen.
around this Axe that's already so beefy?
I think they have to pick their fights very carefully. And, like, on a head-on fight, I don't think they should attempt anything, but you know, they should definitely still go for favorable fights. But for the most part, they just keep farming away until they hit their timings with their Spectre and their OD. Because in their current form, I don't think they should be like, forcing anything.
Right. Well, and I guess that is the plus side of having the Spectres. You can always just jump in and be there for that nice, yummy kill steal at the end of the day. Axe, meanwhile, is going to rotate in towards what looks to be the mid lane. KP and Kaka are here together. I don't know if they're going to try and go on this or not. They might just, though. Oh, misses
no,
the
he missed
call,
both.
but there's the Hunt at the same time. The ship comes in as well, is going to hit onto Kaka, and that's actually going to be a dead Rubik at the start of this fight. They still have Ravage available. It connects really nicely timed there onto Sylar. The Sanity Eclipse goes down as well, but there's too much damage. He has to go for that Self-Astral. I don't think he can live through this, though. Old 11 still has his dunk, is going to be able to take him down. KP delivered as well. Old 11 just making things happen on this Axe. And even though he missed his call, there was not nearly enough damage from Newbee to follow up that Ravage.
That was just a sick boat from Garter. That boat hit, I think, OD and Tidehunter.
Yeah.
And then people just got low enough, and then once the dunk comes in, the team fight's just so much easier because everyone's running so fast.
Man, this is a rough one. And they can kind of hold back the push a little bit with Fade Bolt here and there. He's also got Shadow Poison for Rubik, which is pretty nice, but this does feel like a push that's eventually going to come. I guess it is, though, a lot of melee cores. So, not the easiest.
Well, ehome.k still doing a good job at maintaining this early game. They're not giving any space to Newbee to farm.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures
Shadow
are fortified.
Poison's going back and forth from different teams. You don't always see that. But this will mean that ehome taking that tier 1 tower, and Newbee need to be careful. They can't lose all these. Spectre still needs spots to farm around the map.
He's doing a really good job, though, given the circumstances. I think at this rate, as long as he doesn't die, he'll finish his Radiance in like 22 minutes or so. Which is much later than you would really hope for, but given the circumstances, it should be still okay. They should be ready to fight by then, assuming it doesn't like snowball out of control for ehome.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and now you have, for instance, the Tidehunter is going to be able to pick up the mechanism. This does allow them to have slightly more fighting potential, but you can see that they are not even interested in coming to defend this tier 1 tower bottom. There's no attempt at all. It's also with the Tinker here, you can't really pressure the other lanes while all this is happening. It's very difficult right now for Newbee to
Bottom tower is under
get
attack.
any of that comeback gold through taking towers.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Now, speaking of Kunkka's build, nothing's changed. He's doing the Lana build, max
Oh my
Tidebringer into Armlet.
Lordy, lordy. Well, at the same time, though, Lanham, they are going to go after him here. The Haunt, oh my god, what just happened to the frame rate? All right, SC gets caught back up. There's the boat. It is going to land onto KP's head. Ravage is available. They throw it back out. Nicely played there. Old 11 dropping low. Guardian is going to take some damage as well. They are going to kill off that OD. And now, suddenly, You're left alone, Faith. Is he going to die? They throw out the stolen torrent from Kaka, but the torrent's going to connect onto Faith. So that was a really good play from the Rubik to allow him to get out, but they don't manage to save the Dazzle.
When that hog came out, my entire game just broke.
Yeah, same for me. That was really weird. But I guess that's just one of those things. It still ends up, despite the fact that Newbee lost 3 heroes, they come out ahead in that exchange because the axe died. 1,100 gold into their favor.
It's really surprising that the fight went that way. Look how... Actually, I guess the damage dealt is counts illusions too.
Yeah.
Just looking at this recap. 6,000 damage dealt by ehome. Man.
It does definitely feel, though, that they are missing still a little bit of damage. It's all spread out evenly, but there's just not that extra little bit that they need to push it over the edge. And Lanham is just messing with KP here. He does turn back around, drops his ulti onto his head, and looks like KP's going to be able to walk away from that one, but Shadow Demon's feeling bold.
I feel like that team fight might have been a little bit better for Newbee. I think the Ravage just came out slightly too late, but KP is really good on Tidehunter. He normally calculates like how many people he can hit and what the most optimal timing is. But I think he was just a little bit too late. Because of that, the OD died for it.
Yeah. Oh, Kaka up in the top lane. They do have a lift still to try and create that extra little bit of separation, but oh, tried to hit it with the torrent, wasn't quite on point this time and is going to get dunked. So Old 11 finds that kill. Spectre will throw out a dagger, but there's no other real way to try and mess with them at all. You know, I will say, when I've watched Newbee in the past, it always feels like they play sort of like a spring being pushed back in. It's all of this energy built up, and they're sort of only taking the team fights that they want and avoiding them whenever they can, taking losses, and then eventually when they do finally take a team fight, once they get those items, it's just a really good you know, explosion back into their favor. As looks like they're trying to take down this axe here. Old 11, yeah, no way to catch him and break that. Do you think they have comeback potential in this game?
I mean, definitely. They have one of the best late game heroes. It'll absolutely annihilate them if he like gets too big, but they definitely have the comeback potential because you while they are slightly behind, you still have an OD who's kind of keeping up with his Midas, and you know, like I said, you have Spectre, Tidehunter, great late game offlaner, and Rubik's one of those heroes that he just shines as the game goes on for support, because you know, you just have all those ultimates and spells to steal from and stuff like that.
Okay. We'll see if they can make it happen. As the rotation now maybe in towards mid, they might be able to find Lanham here. They catch him immediately at the imprisonment, but the boat goes out. Another haunt, breaking the frame rate. Oh, good lift up there by Kaka, interrupting the call. KP does finally get caught by it, but he's the only one. They have a Ravage available. They drop it out. Is going to catch onto 3. Right at the last second, it comes through and connects there, but the Omni Slash now onto 2. Good Grave, keeping alive their Spectre for the moment. Sylar's going to be able to walk away from this one. Oh, nice torrent from Kaka. Catches right on the edge for the axe. I thought he was going to walk away from there, but that makes it totally worth it. The fact that they were able to kill off that axe.
Well, just because they killed off the axe, it's another victory for Newbee. I mean, they're behind, so this comeback gold is adding up.
It's still rough, definitely. I mean, you've got really the big thing is just the Tidehunter's net worth has been hurting a lot, to the point where he had to go back for that cloak now, just trying desperately to stay alive. But good stuff there, and now they're going to move into Roche. It's not the quickest thing in the world, though.
Yep, but I don't think there's too much that Newbee can do about it. They don't have taunt, they don't have OD/LT, they don't have a Ravage. There's no way they're going to try to fight this, so it's going to be a Roshan for ehome.
Unfortunately, because of Tinker, again, there's the tier 1 towers are up across the board for ehome. Normally this is the way that you catch back up a little bit more, is taking some tower gold, but it's just not happening.
Yep. But that fight was like, that fight really showcases the power of Kunkka Ultimate, because there were so many potential kills for Newbee. Like that was one of the best fights you can ask for as Newbee, but just because of the Kunkka boat, no one took damage, and they just couldn't get the kills they needed. They only got 1 kill when they could have potentially, I would say, 3 kills. But, you know, Kunkka ultimate, good spell.
Ooh. Old chicken, he is there, up front and center. Are they going to be able to find him, though?
Radiant's middle tower
They are
is
still
under
over here. Meanwhile, over in the mid lane, ehome are mounting an offensive onto this tier 1 tower. Yeah, they're not going to be able to kill off the Tinker over there. He's playing it pretty safe, and maybe they can take down the tier 1 tower, but Newbee just are really not looking for a fight. They do not want to get into this. It is so close also to U9 being able to finish off his Radiance, only just a few gold away from it. I think KP is like getting all the creeps close to death and then leaving them for Spectre to kill. All right, no, he was doing that over before, but yeah, all that they want to do right now is just try and make sure that Spectre gets the farm that you need. Even going to TP out as the rest of ehome was heading over their direction.
He's so close. We can do it.
The KP is just hiding away. Does he have a TP? Yeah, he does. Of course he's got a TP. He's got a TP. He's KP.
Unfortunately, even if they finish the Radiance, it's still like so hard for them to fight because of just how far ahead ehome is right now. Like, all it takes is one Omni Slash.
Oh, old 11 is here. U9 might get spotted out. Oh my God, that was. I'm waiting on bated breath. I thought they were going to try and go at him. Instead, up in the top lane, KP is going to get jumped upon here, and he's going to actually just TP out. X mark the spot, comes off cooldown. They got him. Oh, that spell has such a low cooldown. Now KP is here. He's actually alone though. There's nobody else with them, so that means they don't have a Ravage. U9 needs to be careful because, well, I guess the Tinker isn't going to be able to show up in time. Yeah, he's killing KP up in the top lane. They really want U9 though.
Old 11's just following him, waiting for his moment.
U9 is still very close.
Oh, it's daytime. They know where he is.
Gets the call. They do have Grave, but it's not really going to keep him that alive. All right, but no, where's the rest of his team? They need to realize
he thought
this
he
is
could
happening.
do it on his own.
All right, they've got the Astral. That'll be fine. Haunt gets dropped down as well, just to give a little bit of extra vision. Faith's going to TP away, so it looks like they're going to get out clean. That could have gone so much worse for Newbee.
Huge win for Newbee. I mean, I think that was a miscalculation on old 11's part. I think he didn't expect the OD to be there, but I think he expected some opposition to be there, but not the entire team. And it's just not enough time for the Tinker to reinforce him.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Rubik. Also, during this time, he's been able to pick up his Blink Dagger, 900 gold on top of it, so he's probably working towards an Aether Lens, I would imagine. Already has that Blade Fury just for that extra survivability. Radiance is now in the base for U9. He's going to be able to have that up and online for the next fight. They realize that Lanham's in the area. They think that they might try and go on him. Well, probably a little bit too difficult.
Yeah, it's on top of a tier 1. You don't want to make that kind of risk.
Alright.
Newbee's just doing the best they can to just avoid whatever fights possible and just keep working towards these items. I mean, Spectre is still not ready. Having a Radiance is really good for sure, but it's not enough. He needs way more than this.
It does feel like it's a bit of a turnaround for Newbee, though, as far as their whole game plan is considered. They're really, you know, making the most of just sort of holding on to the game as long as possible. Imprisonment, push out the creep wave. It really doesn't feel like ehome is able to take it to them in the way that they might want to.
Yeah. This high ground push is really difficult for ehome to complete, even despite being this far ahead.
You know what? We're going to see the X marks the spot with Blade Fury going on, I think. Well, maybe not. Sylar is not doing it, and instead is just going to take a lot of damage. He has the Aegis still available, but... Oh, this is scary. This is a really tenuous moment. Ravage is up and online. They pop the mechanism, and actually, the Aegis is now gone, so... ehome don't feel comfortable doing it.
Ooh, they smoke out. They know, though. They didn't spot that high ground ward. This could be really bad for Newbee.
Well, the rest of the team is all spread out, though. They're gone. They're not here. Guardian's going to get caught. Also, after the fact. They catch the Torrent onto 2 boats there as well, but the Haunt back in on top of Guardian. He's taking the damage over time. Meanwhile, Old 11 misses his call. Sylar is here. They pop the Ravage. BKB pop now for the Juggernaut. Omni Slash still available if they want to go for it. Astral is there. SC's not taking any of the damage. They didn't do anything with that ultimate. Now lifted up again. That's going to be Axe dropping low. They lift back, and they stole the Omni Slash. Kaka making plays for the team. On his back, they're still going to take a lot of damage from it. But yo, Kaka's playing out of his mind.
This is the newbie strat. Like, lose early game, win late game. Whatever, guys. We're fine.
I'm loving it. They're really impressive plays.
I'm just really surprised that ehome got caught by that, because they had the high ground ward, right? And that high ground ward should have spotted that smoke, and they still stuck around for it. Unless for some reason they didn't see it. Like, maybe this one tree blocked the smoke entirely, but...
Oh, you know what? It might have. It just right behind those barracks. They might not have spotted it, and then it would have been a thing where they only get to see... Yeah, that would make sense. That's the only thing that makes sense there. Otherwise, you're right. There's no way they make that play.
Right. So I think this high ground ward actually didn't see it. That's the only thing I can think of as to why they gave up kills there.
Well, Tier 3 tower is still taking damage, and despite that big win back in the favor of Newbee, they need to come and contest this. ehome, oh lordy, this could be rough. They don't have Ravage though, so it might not be the easiest play in the world. Disruption to try and keep the Jug alive, send the illusions back in. But I don't know if they can push high ground here. X onto KP again, but the Astral, it's going to keep him alive.
I feel like after realizing that they've been 3 to 4 man missiled without any vision, they must know that there's a high ground ward. They have to get rid of it. There, Kaka finds it.
They drop that down. Nice movement.
He's not going. He can't go for it though because he's gonna die to that.
God, this is so frustrating to play against. They pull back again onto Sylar, doing damage. Yeah, KP
still has Omni Slash. I think they want to fight. This is the best outcome they could fight with. It's when he has Omni Slash.
All right, this other ward is just barely out of vision right now. They're not going to be able to take that one. They do have another sentry, which they could think about placing if they want to. But another X now onto KP. Ravage in 2. They can still go for this if they want. And Omni Slash, like you said, available for the Rubik. X again onto KP. That should signal to them. There's a ward up there, buddies. Go take it down.
No, he missed it.
They got it.
Okay, they got it. They got 2.
All right.
This high ground ward is so important. They absolutely cannot let them have high ground vision when they try to defend like this.
And Tinker is just awful to play against, isn't he?
I mean, Newbee did a great job though. They held perfectly. They only lost a tower, and they managed to hold off until their cooldowns came back up. So this is a very big victory for Newbee, in my opinion.
Well, and also, I mean, U9 was out there trying to think about at least pushing the waves, and will be able to slightly along the bottom as long as he doesn't, get caught out. Actually turns off his Radiance as well, not wanting to get found. And Tinker is over here. They might realize something's going on. I think he's just here to push it out after Tinker pushes the lane again.
Yeah, that'll be the safest position. He sees the people in the middle lane as well, so I think he'll feel a little safer trying farming this in the moment.
Well, and ehome starting to feel a little bit desperate at this point. They're going to keep sending out the illusion spam, but I don't know if it's quite going to be good enough. And now with no Tinker and no high ground ward, Newbee, I think, have held. They've been able to make it work, and I don't know if they can really... Well, what's the play now for ehome?
Take Roshan, first step. Then they have to catch people out because I think it's just impossible for them to high ground at this point. I don't think Newbee is far enough behind for them to just walk up casually and racks them. They have to wait for their pick off. But they need this Roshan as well. They really need the Aegis on Juggernaut.
Oh, I love this play too. Kaka's picked up a gem, so they're making sure that they can take back map control. Just slow movements around the map together as a team, making sure that they are aware of what ehome's vision is like, and that they probably won't have any wards back behind. And now you can see, like, the map looks much less open for ehome, and Newbee are going to be able to take back some of that advantage.
ehome going for that pickoff I was talking about. Unfortunately, they are not going in the right direction. U9 just knows, you know, the safest place is your enemy's forest. Just gonna go into their jungle.
Oh, but they might run into him here. KP also smoking forward, and the smoke breaks onto several. There's the call onto SC. The Ravage goes out, only connects onto a couple, and with the Haunt already being expended, are they going to be able to take this fight? It looks like with the lift up, boat's already been dropped. They're turning this back around, the dispersion onto those Spectre illusions. Man, Sylar's so strong. Takes down the Rubik. The call as well, able to kill off the Dazzle. They bring down the Kunkka, but I don't know if it's enough. They need to be careful because now Tinker's entered the fray as well. Old 11 trying to take down SC. He's dropping very low. Is going to die. And oh, in the meantime, Sylar is there. I think that this is just going to be SG trying to escape. Man, ehome are still doing so much damage, trying to go away with the Force Staff, but Sylar finds him. Triple kill for ehome on Sylar, and
man,
this
that
is
was
rough.
Such an unfortunate Ravage. He timed it just where Sylar gets his BKB off, and Axe also gets his BKB off. He doesn't hit anyone except for the Kunkka. That's so unfortunate.
And they weren't even able to burst the Kunkka in that time, and now Sylar in charge. Pretty strong right now. Battle Fury, Sanj, and Yasha, he's going to be hitting really hard.
They still have a Roshan to fall back on too. So they can just take this and go for another objective.
And I mean, of course, we were talking earlier about how strong Newbee were starting to look. That's all in the context of them still winning fights and hitting their spells right, which that team fight they just did not do. And I don't know, very much somewhat of a scary and tenuous moment for ehome. Turns very heavily back into their favor now. 20,000 net worth lead, right around 12,000 experience. If Newbee can start pulling together some fights, it looks a lot better for them, but now it's starting to look really dire.
I mean, I feel like they've always been playing on the back foot, but, you know, up until just a few moments ago, they were slowly bringing it back to them, you know, just little by little, kill by kill, they were just making their comeback, but with that 5-man wipe, it's gotten just that much harder.
Well, right now, we've got Pipe on the way for Tidehunter. Kaka still stuck with the gem, so I think that in the midst of that team fight, Sylar killed off the Rubik, but the gem, he did not see it, or I guess just didn't pick it up, and so they were able to go and recover that. So that's at least something going their way.
You look at Old 11, I've been watching him for the last 10 seconds, he's just spamming his call and canceling it, so Axe looks really silly.
Old 11.
No, he just stopped doing it.
What a guy. You can't call all the time. And still, I mean, this Tinker is just, they haven't been able to shut him down at all.
Yeah, they picked the Spectre to deal with him, but I mean, he's 0 deaths in, so.
All right, well, here comes the spam again, potentially, as ehome are getting ready to move up. Spectre does have a Manta style, and they force out the spin for Sylar, still with the Aegis in hand. He doesn't really have to worry about a whole heck of a lot. Also has a Butterfly now. These illusions are going to be hard to deal with.
Don't forget, the OD Orb does 400 extra damage to illusion, so that's their SD counter.
All right, another, again, spin from Sylar. Still taking that damage, but not going to be able to do it. Meanwhile, Spectre is moving up the mid lane. I guess just trying to farm, realizing that this is going to take a while, but if they find Spectre, potentially just die.
He's doing a good job. The team, I mean, he's keeping tabs where everyone is. He knows that it's really hard for them to kill him. The only person who can actually, you know, go to him is the Tinker. Everyone else is going to be at bottom lane.
Lift up again onto Sylar. There's the X as well as the Torrent, but Astral will keep that OD alive. Kaka right nearby as well, so they're protecting each other very well, but the tower is still taking damage. You know, I'm a little surprised that we're not seeing the X marks the spot with the spin getting used by Sylar, because you can just go for an X onto Sylar, jump forward with the spin, right-click the tower, and then Kunkka pulls him back, and it's really, you can't stop it. Oh, there it is. All right, yeah, they're doing it now. That's the play. And Ravage dropped, same time. Oh, what is going on? FPS, come back to me. They're doing a ton of damage to old 11. Poke goes in as well. Oh my god, the BKB pop from the Act was just too big, and now the Omni Slash onto Kaka. Bounces over to Faith as well as SC. Is going to be able to Hurricane Pike away, but my goodness, that's only the Aegis. That was a buyback from the OD in the midst of all that, so they don't have any way to stop this now. Ravage expended, Sane's Eclipse expended. There's the Dagon 5 being debuted, and also the laser getting thrown out. Man, ehome are just all over him. Excuse me, that was only Dagon 3.
And then they have the healing ward. They just go take megas.
This is very rapidly getting out of control for Newbee with their bottom barracks gone. Tier 1 or Tier 3, the only thing left standing. And yeah, good game gets called. Newbee were not able to hang on, and ehome bring it back in game number 2.
This old 11 Axe just shut down the Spectre entirely. It's, the captain putting the team on his shoulders. It's like, I got this, don't worry. I'm gonna deal with the Spectre. You guys, handle the rest. And he just like completely shut down the Spectre. There was like so little he could do, because whenever the Axe was there, you just cannot survive that call.
Yeah, it's too tough. Old 11 making it plays for his team. It was really good to watch, and now we're gonna have to see, can Newbee win with a hero other than Drow Ranger? I'm imagining they can. This still looked good. Is there anything that you would sort of switch up about the draft for Newbee? Anything that really comes to mind at all?
Maybe just don't be so greedy, I guess, because they ended up picking up, the Midas on the OD again, and the game was already going south for them, and he still went for the preferred late game item pickup. I think the draft overall was fine. It's just they can't lose the early game that badly. Like KP died in the off lane 3 times, whereas old 11 just went into the jungle and was level 6 at 4 minutes, right? You can't beat that as tied, but you also shouldn't, or you should definitely avoid dying 2 to 3 times in the off lane.
All right, well, we'll see if they can possibly bring it back in game number 3, or if ehome are going to be able to build off of this lead, carry the momentum forward, and take them into the semifinals. Been Lyrical, joined as well by Eosin. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Again, this is an upper bracket matchup, so even if either team loses here, they do still have another round to go forward in that lower bracket. But thanks for watching. Give us a follow on Twitter if you feel so inclined, at Lyrical Dota, at Eosin Dota. Be sure to hit us up with any suggestions you have about our casting. Always looking to get better. But most importantly, continue following this tournament, Shanghai Dota 2 Open, brought to you by BTS. We'll see you guys in a bit.